Hi everybody. Today I'm going to teach you all about style exercises. So style is really important to teach because it gives you a language with your students in rehearsal or in performance or in sight reading for if the students aren't playing in the right style and we're not really getting the flavor of the piece correct. So it's very important to teach that right away. So the first one that I'm going to teach is march style. Now, in the Essential Elements book that we use for beginning band, number 23 is called March Steps, so that's a perfect time to teach it. So if you take your hand like this, and then your other in a fist, okay? And we use two words to describe march style, okay? I like to try to use as many kinesthetic exercises as I can with the middle schoolers because they'll remember way better. Okay, so the first one, you're gonna punch your other hand. I always tell them, don't hurt yourself. All right, so you hit it and you're gonna feel that tiny sting there. So march style, there are two words, sting and decay. So it's gonna decay back. So the sound, you sting it and then you decay back. Everybody say, march style, sting and decay. March style, sting and decay. And you're gonna ask your class to do that back and forth. March style, sting and decay. 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 About 3 times or so. All right, and then you're gonna go ahead and start to teach them how to do that. So I usually use a trumpet to demonstrate because it's really easy to hear the differences in the style. I'm a flute player myself, so don't judge me here, but I do demonstrate most days on trumpet. So, all right, so here we go. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna sting the note. So I tell everybody, imagine that you've got an ice cream scooper in your hand and you're gonna scoop up your stomach. So you're gonna lift your stomach above your ribs, okay? So, or behind your ribs, I guess. So lift, lift, scoop, scoop, and we actually practice that with our imaginary ice cream scoopers, lifting that up and say, that's kind of a weird example, I know, but it does work. So here we go. So if I play a note, and your stomach's coming up like this. All right, and so they demonstrate that and they see that, okay? We're gonna sting the note, so we're gonna hit that a little bit harder with our air. Okay, and then we're gonna get soft at the end, all right? And I always defer to Ken Bauman, who taught me this idea of the sting and the decay. Ken Bauman is a wonderful, wonderful musician from Michigan, and he's been one of my mentors for about 18 years, and so big shout out to Ken for all that he's taught me, and all of you Michigan people know what I'm talking about. So here we go. And then you're gonna have your class do that back. And then I might change it up, like. Right, and then you just do back and forth like that, okay? Now, at some point in there, you should tell them, in a march style, when you have 8th notes, those are going to be played lighter and softer. So you're going to sting and decay on all the quarter notes, on all the half notes, on any whole notes, but on the 8th notes, you're going to be a little bit softer and lighter. So then you might demonstrate that. Listen to how I play the 8th notes. Okay, and you're going to lift up on those 8th notes. Again, scooping up with your stomach. Okay. All right, and then sting and decay, march style, sting and decay, and then they're gonna say it again, march style, sting and decay, march style, sting and decay, march style, sting and decay. Okay, after you teach march style, make sure that you put something like this on the board. Okay, now, I don't know, hopefully this will show up correct, but you can see the idea even if it's backwards on here. It looks backwards to me, but it might be correct when you see it, I'm not sure. So you see this triangle, okay, so the sound is big at the beginning and then it's going to get soft at the end. So and if you can keep to just these 2 words, that'll really help them to remember those styles. All right, the second style that we're going to use is legato style. So again, I'll draw these pictures up on the board, okay? So legato, smooth and connected. So everybody's gonna go like this, legato, smooth and connected, and again repeating, legato, smooth and connected, legato, smooth and connected. Then I might go back and say, march, sting and decay, march, sting and decay, legato, smooth and connected, legato, smooth and connected, march, sting and decay, march, sting and decay, legato, smooth and connected, legato, smooth and connected. Okay, now in a school, usually you have some cinder block on the wall. Not always, but most of the time. Okay, so this is a great example, and I have to have a shout out to my colleague Sean Girk because he had this idea. So the idea is that the cinder block is continuous, right? We see that little separation of the blocks, but it doesn't ever stop. And so when we're talking about air, we talk about how they just use about a taste bud of tongue, okay? So if we take our hand and we put it right here, shout out to Dave Wells for this idea. I've definitely could not come up with all these ideas. So if you take your finger and you put it up against your lips, and then take your tongue and you barely touch your tongue to your finger like this. And then you say, that tiny dry spot that's on your tongue, that's how much tongue you should use on legato. So everybody think about that. And then I say, okay, now make those notes touch. And then they demonstrate it back. And even beginners can do this. It's not something just for older kids. So with one hand, you're holding your instrument, and the other hand, you're demonstrating the same thing that we just talked about, right? So, da, 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 back and forth. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, and then you might go back and forth. So you might say, march style, sting and decay, march style, sting and decay, legato, smooth and connected, legato, smooth and connected. And then you might say, all right, we're going to play a little game. I'm going to play a style, and I want you to tell me what it is. All right, and I would highly recommend using those terminologies of sting and decay, legato, smooth and connected, because there's sort of a cadence with that, a sing-songiness, and what it does is it creates this energy in your classroom, okay? So if we say, then they're going to say, march, sting and decay, legato, smooth and connected. Okay, so they're going back and forth and deciding which one it is, okay? And you can also add some kinesthetic exercise with that. For example, you could say, if I play march style, I want you to stand up in your chair, okay? And, or maybe just stand up, all right? So if you hear march style, I want you to stand up. If you hear legato, I want you to stay seated, okay? And then you just go through some exercises and then go. And while you play that, I played legato, so they're gonna be sitting. And by having them do some kinesthetic up and down and moving, number one, they're going to get some exercise, which is always a really good thing, and it helps with concentration hugely. And then it's more fun for them too. Okay, so they're not just seated the whole time. You can do all kinds of variations. You can say, all right, when I play march style, I want you to go out like this. All right, I want you to go like this if it's legato. Like this if it's march style, okay, or whatever you want to do. You can say, everybody raise your eyebrows if it's march style, everybody bring your eyebrows down low if it's legato. Anything that you want will be super fun for those kids. All right, so that's a real easy way to add some humor and fun to your class. All right, the third and last style that we teach for the 3 basic styles is light style, bouncy and spaced, okay? Now, a lot of people have different terminology for light style, but I like bouncy and spaced. If we think of a basketball bouncing, okay, or a tennis ball just bouncing, and then so that's what we do for our kinesthetic exercise. We have march, sting and decay, legato, smooth and connected, light, bouncy and spaced, okay? So for that, it would sound like this. All right, and they say light, bouncy and spaced. Da, 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 da. And they can just play that on concert F, back and forth, and then of course you put it together. Okay, playing games back and forth, and they say, legato, smooth and connected, light, bouncy and soft. march, sting, and decay, okay? So of course you're not gonna show those, but they will show them back to you, okay? So they stay engaged because we're teaching them those styles. Again, you can have them move. One game that's really fun to play is have all the kids standing up. And if you want, you can move the chairs, or you can leave the chairs there. But you could say, all right, if I play light style, I want you to go to the right side of the room. If I play legato style, I want you to go to the left side of the room. And if I play light style, I want you to go right in the middle of the room, okay? And then, of course, you can have fun by making them cross the room. So you've got exactly 5 seconds to decide in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or whatever you want to do. But anytime you can get those kids to move, all you have to do is differentiate. All right, you're gonna stand up on your chair on march style. You're gonna sit on the floor in light style, and you're gonna bring your hands up like this for legato, or whatever you want to do. The sky is really the limit on that. So you're gonna hold your hands up and give your neighbors high fives if it's march style, okay? You're gonna give the ceiling a high five if it's legato style. And you're gonna give the floor a high five if it's light style. It doesn't really matter. You can make it up, and the crazier the better, because they'll love it and they'll laugh, but they'll also be learning at the same time. So what's great about these styles exercises is that you'll use them over and over and over again. When we're doing a march for, let's say, a sight reading activity, and they do the norm, right? And they don't play in march style. And then all you have to say is march style, or march style, and they're gonna do so much better because they have that language and they've been practicing these exercises. Now that's for beginners. When you get to the older ages, it's even a shorter experience because it really only takes about a minute or less to do this exercise. And it's a great review. So you might pick a rhythm and you might say, I want you to clap and count this rhythm. 1, all right? And you might have somebody say what the rhythm is. Okay, it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. All right, now I want you to play that in the 3 styles. And here's how they do it all at once. So that's a little bit more complex exercise, but not really that bad at all. So it's just going down the chromatic and then back up to the concert F. So all that is concert F, concert E natural, back to concert F, back to concert E flat, back to concert F, to D, and back to concert F. And it's a great one, especially for trombone players, because it's that first position, second position, first position, third, first position, fourth, and first position. And so you have a lot of opportunity to work on tuning on those positions, which you know as well as I do, those can be a little skatey. So especially fourth position with beginners, but second too. So I'd highly recommend doing that exercise. I even do those with the older kids, with my high school students, with the wind ensemble once in a while, if they're not really differentiating those styles. But I found if we do this all through middle school, it's rare that I have to go back and do a whole lot of review with the high school because they all understand it so well. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope that that's something that you can use practically next week in your classes. Take care.